We're back on the Roy Green Show on the Chorus Radio Network. Let me, just before I introduce you to my next guest, I want to read to you a tweet that I saw yesterday, and this is from at S_Williams59. Just learned a friend in Atlanta lost his best friend, a Vietnam veteran, diagnosed with terminal cancer, given 4 months to live, and was denied pain medicine. Committed suicide in May of 2019. That is what's going on. That may be the United States. It's also going on in Canada. The voice you heard was a guest on this program in the past, Julie, a pain patient. You heard her explain. Joining me now are Scott and Chrissy. That's how we're going to identify them. We'll use their first names. We won't tell you where in Canada they are. I don't think that serves any purpose. But they have a very, very disturbing story to tell because of what's happening to Scott. How are you both?
Well, we're hanging in there.
Yeah. Scott, let me ask you about the pain that you're living with. What's it like for you on a daily basis now after you've been cut off, or at least 80% of your meds were cut off from you? What's life like every day?
It's unrelenting. It never goes away. If I have to go out and go to a doctor's appointment, I have to double my medication just to leave the house. So it leaves me short for the other day for the 20% I get now after 33 years of use. My pain was wonderfully treated for many, many years. The college actually took away my pain doctor, who also was my family doctor, for over 25 years. No reasons, never wrote me, all went through my doctor. So I can't go to human rights. I can't. There's not a thing I can do to fight the college's decision.
So let's just go through this a little bit here. You had a doctor for many years.
Yeah.
And that doctor was prescribing pain medication for you that you'd worked out with him.
Yeah.
And it worked.
Worked wonderfully. Absolutely wonderfully.
It provided you quality of life. Totally. And
I was an active person daily. I enjoyed life. I was a social person. My life was full.
And when did you get this news that, A, your doctor was no longer going to be your doctor, and when were you told that arbitrarily your medications were going to be cut by 80%?
I think it was August of 2017.
And your doctor, your longtime family doctor, can no longer take care of you, is that it?
That's exactly right.
No reason given?
No reason at all, except he was informed by the college that he could not treat me and actually two other ladies that was at the same pain clinic.
And you and you were taking your medication strictly as prescribed, right?
Absolutely.
You never broke over the line. You never changed anything.
I was prescribed properly. I never had to take more. It always worked. My troubles actually, I'll tell you kind of what happened was when they changed the formula from OxyContin to OxyNeon, that's when my troubles kind of started. So they had to supplement it with another drug. So of course my doses increased because the OxyNeon didn't work like the OxyContin did at all.
Scott, was there concern that you were taking too much medication?
Well,
I mean, was it
not according to my doctor.
Not according to your doctor.
Wrote me and said, "Hey, you're taking too much or anything at all."
And it worked for you. Worked for you for years.
Worked for me for 33 years.
So, you feel like there's no recourse for you now, right?
Suicide is about the best thing that I could. I've asked to be put to sleep, but of course they just look at me like I'm nuts. But try to live my life. It's hell. It's awful.
Let me ask you this: you're seeing a pain clinic doctor now, right?
Yeah.
And they cut you back to a number that's 80% lower than you were getting.
Well, actually, I guess those were the people that. Those were the people.
Well, or they're the ones who are. They're the ones.
With my doctor. Then they got this doctor. I don't know if I should mention her name.
No, don't mention his name.
They hired this other addiction specialist. I think in 33 years, if I was an addict, I think they'd know it. But they had this addiction doctor come out, and she just hashed and slashed. And we were leaving for Phoenix for 5 months. So just before we're leaving for Phoenix for 5 months, this is when they taper my drugs down. And I mean, it was, 80% in less than 3 months.
And it was never discussed with you?
Oh, I saw the addiction doctor.
No, I mean before they did it. They didn't say...
No, nothing at all. So then I get a letter that I have to go after this addiction specialist who is bonkers. Then I get a letter that I have to go to this pain clinic. The doctor I was supposed to see, I ended up seeing another doctor, and this doctor was not a good doctor. He tried putting me on
Suboxone?
Chrissy, what's the...
Suboxone.
Yeah.
For 33 days, I went off of all opioids, and on this new drug that said, it'll work within 2 days. You'll be a new man, and you'll be great. So for 33 days, I went through pure hell. I never knew I had that much pain. I had no idea. It was the worst. Well, it wasn't the worst time because I'm living the worst time of my life every day now.
Scott, what's your pain level right now?
Probably a good 7 out of 10. And I can't sleep. I sleep for 3 hours. If I move in the middle of the night, I wake up. So, I average 3 hours sleep a night. Maybe I might get 4. I was also prescribed Valium because of my spasms and so on for a number of years. But they took that away too.
I'm so hesitant to ask you about this, but you want to talk about it because it's part of what happened to you. You did try to take your own life because of the pain.
You're absolutely right. I sure did.
And that was recent.
That was very recently, yeah. Yeah.
Explain to it.
I can't live like this. They don't. The college says, we don't tell doctors not to do this and do that, and they're absolute liars to us. They get reports all the time. Oh, if you're prescribing too much, they get all these threatening letters, and try to find a doctor now.
When the pain is at its worst, when it's at the level where you tried to take your own life, what is that like? Explain to people who don't understand, who've heard the term chronic pain, maybe don't understand just exactly what's happening in your life when it's at its worst, now that your meds have been reduced after many years of successful treatment by 80%. What's life like for you that you get to the point where you say, I'm going to just end my life? What's it like?
Well, I've got what I'm told what I have is called myofascial pain disorder. So I get pain throughout my whole body. Mainly into my neck, my head, my shoulders, my lower back, my feet, my legs. But it feels like somebody's going in there with a great big wedge, and they're just grinding that wedge into my back and just grinding it. And it's unrelenting. It doesn't go away. It's constantly there.
And when you had your medications before the 80% cut, what was your day like again? Tell us.
It was great. I was half normal. I could go out, I could cut the lawn, I could, if a buddy needed a hand doing something, I worked, my life was full. My life was enjoyable. I loved life. I could play with my grandchildren. I could build things in my yard. I was a busy guy all the time.
Just heartbreaking
What's happened now in 2 years, I've put 80 pounds on. Like they're really helping, aren't they? They're just helping me out so much.
Scott, can I talk to Chrissy for a second?
You sure can, yeah.
Hi, bye.
Hi, Chrissy. It must be so hard for you to, first of all, see your husband this way and know what's going on, and now talking to me on the radio. And I know why you're doing it. You care about other people. You want your husband to get a better situation. What's life like for you watching your husband go through this?
It's miserable. It's absolutely miserable, and he makes life all the more miserable because he is miserable. And when his pain is controlled, Scott loves life way too much to think about dying. But these last 2 years have been a much different story.
Can you believe what's happening to him and what the medical system is doing to your husband?
It's.
What do you want to say to these people?
let the doctors do the doctoring, and those people that are controlling this, the politicians and the doctors who sit on boards and the doctors who know nothing about chronic pain, get your hands dirty. Start treating people, or start looking at the patients that you're affecting.
I'm going to keep in touch with both of you, as you know. And I think it's very brave what you've done to come on the air. We talked earlier today that this is like a 12-round boxing match. And it's not going to be over in the first round, but there are more and more media stories now about pain patients and their incredible suffering. And the medical regulators are saying they've only told doctors not to cut back arbitrarily and not to do that. And that's not what doctors and patients are telling me, as you were pointing out. Both of you, our thoughts, prayers, concerns are with you. And I'm going to stay in touch with you, and thank you for coming on the show and letting the country know what actually happens to pain patients.
Thank you very much, Roy, for letting us have a say.
Take care, both of you.
I know.
Thank you much.
I don't think I need to say anything more.